the year it's fall now, right?
Is it fall?
It is fall.
Yeah.
Summer's over.
It was chilly this morning when I was walking my dog, so
There you go.
it's usually a good sign.
Yeah. So, but end of the year, insurance deductibles, all that jazz, right? Do you hear about that? Is that a common
Yes.
is that a common theme amongst our patients?
It's a common theme in the sense that most people have a ticking clock. So everybody, of course, like, you know, if you use your deductible throughout the year, you're golden in the sense that if you have some issues and you run through your deductible, you can get whatever you need to get done before the year's end.
Yep.
The challenge that we have is when patients try to come in and see us and there's 2 weeks left in December and they're like, I want to come to Advent and get something done, and they can't because we can't go through the appropriate steps to get things authorized and get a procedure done for them to help them prior to January 1.
Right. So it's like too little, too late.
Yes.
Kind of a thing.
This month, next month, October, let's say on average, insurance companies, at least this is my understanding, anywhere between 0, which is more Medicare, but then most commercial insurance is 2 to 6 weeks to get authorization if they want something done.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to give yourself that much of a time lag. So that's why we're making a push to communicate to patients, hey, get in here if you want something done before year's end, because we have to have a buffer between the amount of time it takes to get authorized and get you in.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier, but I don't even think, I think there are many people who don't even know that our services are covered by insurance sometimes. I think sometimes people hear our messaging and they think that it's sort of, I don't know, cosmetic. I think there's a confusion, I think, amongst a lot of folks that they think about elective things and confuse them with sort of, I wouldn't say unnecessary, but cosmetic things.
Right.
And we do play that. We dance that dance to some extent. So if somebody has snoring without sleep apnea, and we're doing treatments for just the snoring by itself, that's the one thing that we deal with in our breathing triangle space that wouldn't be covered by insurance. But if somebody has sleep apnea, if somebody's got nasal obstruction, sinus issues, all that stuff, that's that is what health insurance is for. And a lot of times, for a lot of folks at this time of year, the year that's already happened has left some scars on their bank accounts and on other people in their family. And so like sometimes it's sort of recognizing how the year's played out. And for many folks, if you've had healthcare issues that you've had to take care of, that your insurance deductible may be met. And if it's met, there's like sometimes never a great time to go and take care of yourself. But like if deductible is met, time is ticking here, and getting it taken care of makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And so if you can be that, I think sometimes people let life happen to them, but if you can kind of take the bull by the horns, sometimes it helps the cause. So
yeah, I mean, I think the core of what we address is quality of life issues, and so and one thing I discuss with patients when you're talking about elective and cosmetic, and is this covered, is this not covered? I tell people that this isn't heart surgery that you have to have tomorrow, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quality of life issue, and again, like you're saying, hey, if you've run through your deductible, maybe it's time to take care of you. Maybe you have a kid or a family member or somebody else who's had some issues this year, and you've had to do those things, and you yourself have taken a backseat to addressing those quality of life symptoms. But
right.
You can't underestimate good sleep quality. You can't underestimate breathing through your nose. That's for sure. And those two things do go hand in hand. And
right.
hey, it's an elective procedure. It's not cosmetic, so it is covered.
Yep.
But a lot of surgeries are elective in that sense, whether
Right.
it's an ACL repair or something else.
Sure.
Like you don't have to do any of those things, but quality of life decisions for patients, and obviously that's what we're doing. Deal with quality of life issues.
Yep. No, absolutely. Yeah, and the other part of that is like the end of the year is coming, and so for a lot of folks, they start thinking about like resolutions, like big, there's times a year I feel like you kind of start thinking a little bit more, existential, ponder things, and then the stuff that we do is all about that, like a good night's sleep, breathing properly so you can live your life properly, or working out, all that stuff that people find excuses to not get taken care of, but it's the other side of that coin. One side of the coin is deductibles may be met, perfect time to do something that way. The other side of that coin is end of the year's coming. It's a good time to kind of prepare yourself for, not just the year ahead, but the kind of the life ahead sort of a concept. Because, like I said, there's 100 reasons to not do something, and we recognize that too. I mean, I think when we're seeing folks who actually get in, have taken the effort, the reluctant effort to call, to reach out, or just set up an appointment online. That like when we look at when we think about those folks and think about the effort that it takes many of them to make that first move, it's a big deal. And most people don't take action because the easy thing to do is to not take actions. So for somebody that does, part of what we try to do here is like from the moment of first contact through the whole process is understanding that people will try to find every and any reason to not do the right thing.
Right.
And so, therefore, when somebody's taken that, what we think is the right move is taking. I mean, they're reaching out to us, so taking that hand and making sure we're taking good care of them, literally, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so it's, but again, I mean, I think there's reasons to not do it, and so whenever there's a situation where those reasons sort of fade, that's a good time to really, think to do something.
Well, I think what's fortunate too is that insurance does cover, lots of insurances cover the office-based procedures that we do. So that's another thing to keep in mind is that like for these patients, doesn't mean you have to come have surgery because that's also, patients maybe meet at the deductible and know they have a problem but still don't want to go to the operating room.
Absolutely.
So really it's
Right.
like, hey, majority of insurances out there cover these office-based procedures. It means, very little downtime. You get back to doing your normal life. For me, I always tell people like, hey, I've had done what I'm talking to you about, right? And I had it done on a Thursday night. I grabbed you. You did it in the room here, worked the next day, full day, did procedures, did clinics. So like you can get on with your normal life and do it in a very reasonable manner. And so, we've lowered the barrier to be able to address those quality of life concerns for these people.
Yeah.
So.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's important any time of year, but it's especially important. Holidays kind of coming. I mean, it's just again on the flip side is you got these holidays coming up, and there's all sorts of commitments time-wise. I don't have time to have a real deal surgery and be out and all that stuff. We get it, and that again. Sometimes we forget. I sometimes forget how the rest of the world works in relation to, or how the rest of the world treats folks medically who suffer with issues we have. We take it for granted that our thought is aligned with most patients' thought. Is if we can do something, if there's a solution that exists, that they ought to know about it. If there are sort of a few different ways you could play it, you want sort of that the sort of intersection between results and minimally invasive or like little downtime, all that kind of stuff, and that's what Office absolutely does. Which again, we take it for granted here, but that's not how the rest of the world works. The rest of the world is sort of flipped opposite, where they're thinking about surgery or nothing, kind of a thing. So,